Hello and welcome back to Heiner Builds Your Ride. We've got another very nice troopy and we've done the works to it. It's also one of the last ones I think that we're ever gonna be building like that, and I'm gonna tell you why after we rolled the intro. We have fitted our Hella Rock 380 driving lights to these. They are the most sturdy lights we have. They're such a good rugged driving light. Definitely a favorite if you want ruggedness over everything and still have really good performance out of it. Also for safety and because it looks really nice, we put the daytime running lights from Nava into the ARB bull bar that the customer had fitted previously. We've made some brackets to actually mount them in here that we're gonna be releasing soon, because it just looks really cool. It's like it's made for it. We also put the XRS 370 two-way UHF radio in here. And under the bonnet here, we've used the factory accessory fuse box for the driving lights and put some spare fuses in. The driving light relay is right next to it, also labeled. Then we've got a twin MIDI fuse holder with one of our brackets that we make for MIDI fuse holders to go onto the battery hold down clamp. We make these in a way that they go up and across, just in case the battery has got these inspection ports and service ports on here. We also make them in a way that they go down and out in case you got a flat battery top. This MIDI fuse is the fuse and the power supply to the Egon DC hub, which is mounted in the back. Let's have a look at that. This here might actually be the last troopy that we're ever gonna see with the quick pitch interior. I don't think you can buy these interiors anymore. I don't really understand why, but I don't think Quick Pitch is taking any orders on these anymore. Even though it is a brilliant interior and we really like fitting these out. So we've put our Victron BMV 712 battery monitor in here. We've got 2 accessory sockets and we got 2 twin USBs, also with USB-C in here for fast charging of new devices. We have got our external water pickup and our tap outlet here, because this has got a deconstructed water hub built in. So if you want to fill up your water bottle, you can just plug that in here. The pump switches are in the dash in the front, so as soon as you arrive somewhere at your camping destination, you turn water pressure on. These are actually self-sealing, these are Nitto fittings. We sell them through our shop as well, because we find these are extremely handy, because as soon as you unplug it, there's no leakage or anything, because these seal, because they're usually being used for air compressors. And then once you plug your hose in, as soon as you press it, you get water, the pump starts running, you release, the pump builds up pressure and automatically stops again. And if you want to use water out of a bucket, because you found a water supply somewhere, you can plug that in here, drop this into a bucket or canister somewhere that you've got, then you change the pump from the tank pump to the external pickup pump. If you do that, you won't get any water out of here anymore, but you will get water out of the shower outlet, which is on the side there. I'll show you in more detail a bit later. And you can still get water out of the shower circuit, because you do not need to use your drinking water for showering or for washing dishes. That outlet also runs through the water heater. So it means you can get hot water out of there. You cannot get hot water out of here. Here you will only get cold water, and only from the tank. There's check valves built in so that the external water supply cannot cross-contaminate the drink water pump, any of the drink water pipes, or the drink water tank itself. But you can use dirty water to shower or wash dishes, which makes it quite handy if you have got limited drink water on a very long trip with you. Because if you then find a good supplier of water, let's say a creek or a well, but it is water that you wouldn't want to drink, at least you can use it for showering and washing dishes. I'll show you the shower outlet in a bit more detail. This is where you plug in your shower hose. You do that, and then as soon as you open the valve, when you've turned the pump on, you will actually get water flowing out, and if you want to stop, you just turn it back off. So that means you never have to touch the switch for the water pressure. All you do is turn the pump on, it builds up pressure, then your system will be pressurized, and as soon as you want to use water, you just open the valve, the pump turns on, because the pressure switch, and it realizes that the pressure has dropped because water is flowing out. You can have a shower, you stop again, pump builds up pressure, burp, and then stops, and you can just leave the shower here for the time period that you camped. And then when you're done, very important, you turn the water switch off, you release the pressure, and then you disconnect the pump. If you don't release the pressure, you get a bit of a splash around there. I'll put that back in the car. Another thing that you can do in the back here is you've got your compressor outlet here, so you can plug in your air hose and then inflate your tires, or you can dust out the car if you want to. And the switch for the compressor is on the right hand side of the steering wheel, so while you're driving you can already hit the button and pump up the tank. The compressor itself is mounted on the side here, and the air tank is mounted underneath the car right here. Just up underneath here, out of the way, where we're using all the dead space that we've got available to fit accessories to these. All right, I'm gonna show you the heart of the system. This is where we've mounted the deconstructed water hub. So this is the pump for the external pickup, and this is the pump for the tank pickup. And over here, we've got our temperature mixing valve, which will automatically regulate the temperature and then send the water out of here, out of the shower connection. The water heater for it is mounted right here. We are using the 10-liter Duoetto water heater from OSJ, and you can switch it on from the dash for the 12-volt side. On the 12 volt side, this has got a 300 watt heating element, and heating up 10 liters of water to 70 degrees takes roughly 1 to 1.5 hours. If you want to boost it, you have got a 240 volt cable, and in this car you've also got a 2000 watt inverter, because the 240 volt heating element has got 1000 watts, and that will heat up water in about 30 minutes. And what you can do is you can take the cable out, plug it into the inverter, turn the inverter on, and you have hot water very quickly, just in case you need it fast and you forgot to turn it on while you're traveling. Usually we recommend heating up the water while you're still traveling. So if you're driving along and you can monitor the battery levels through your smartphone, you see batteries are full, you do not need to charge anything anymore. You can already press the button on the water heater and start charging your hot water, so that way you can arrive at campsite with full batteries and 10 liters of 70 degree hot water, and it will stay hot in there easily for 12 to 24 hours, depends on the ambient temperature. So like I said, in here we've got the 2000 watt Redarc pure sine wave inverter with a power outlet on the side here and the switch as well. Also we have got two 150 amp hour lithium batteries from Amptron, which fill up this cavity quite nicely. Then we've got our primary power distribution here with twin ANL fuses. There is one cable, one main cable going in, and then it splits up into a supply for the DC hub, and the other supply goes to the inverter. What we always do is we put junction boxes in here, so we've got all the cables, the twin core cables that come, the multi-core cables that come, for example, from the dash and go up to the roof. They all meet in this junction box, and we connect them together inside this junction box. What we've also got in here, this is actually the fridge cable and the external shore power charge cable. They usually sit behind the driver's seat, but we have got the shunt in here for the Victron BMW 712 battery monitor. And over here we have got a 20 amp Victron MPPT charge regulator for the two 120 watt KT solar roof panels. We have used MPPT regulator and a Redarc BC-DC charger, which is mounted on the side here. The reason for that is that this will get a power supply from the start battery, or it constantly gets, but once the engine is running, it will detect that the engine is running, and it will start charging with roughly 40 to 43 amps. And now the roof solar panels, because they have got an extra regulator, will also do, depending on the situation, 10 to 15 amps from the roof. So that means instead of using this internal regulator, and then we're limited to just over 40 amps, we can get almost 55 amps of charging happening when the sun is shining and the engine is running. So instead of using the internal regulator where we would be limited to 40 amps. But what we do is we use this internal regulator and we connect the Anderson plug to it, which is mounted right here. So if you want to connect a solar blanket while you're stationary, then we use this internal regulator and we connect an external solar panel to it. The reason we do that is that the roof solar panels are put together in series, so they operate at a higher voltage. Their maximum power point is somewhere in between 36 and 38 volt. While if we plug a single solar blanket in, it will have its maximum power point at around 18, 19 volts. So means the roof system is not compatible with the solar blanket, and the reason we do that is because that way the roof solar system runs a lot more efficiently, but we can still use an external solar blanket with the system. Of course, what we've got as well is the Egon DC hub right here. So all the chargers we just talked about, everything is interconnected in here. We've got the start battery power supply coming in. We've got the solar plug-in point coming in here. The Redarc BC-DC core is connected here. Then we've got a 240 volt AC to 12 volt DC charger, which is mounted here, also connects to the DC hub. The compressor connects to the DC hub. The 12 volt side of the water heater connects into the DC hub. The Victron 20 amp solar regulator connects in here, and then all the other bits and pieces, the charge points, the fridge, the roof lights that I haven't talked about yet. Everything interconnects here in this one unit, which makes it really easy if you ever have to do fault finding, and all the fuses are integrated into this unit as well. It actually reduces our installation time in a job like this one here easily by 6 to 8 hours, because we don't have to do all the interconnections of the circuits. We just have to connect it to the DC hub, and all the interconnections are already done. This is the Osj Duoetto 10 liter hot water system, 240 and 12 volt. And here we've got the 240 volt AC to 12 volt DC charger, also Bluetooth enabled, so it can be monitored through the Victron Connect app. The 240 volt connection plug is behind the driver's seat there, so you can just plug in the extension cord, and then it will maintain the lithium batteries. That means also if you are somewhere on a powered site in a caravan park, you can just plug in the vehicle with a normal extension cord that you can buy everywhere, and this charger will make sure that you maintain your batteries, so you can leave the fridge, the lights, everything running. In the end, everything will just run off this battery charger, because once the batteries are full, it will just act as a power supply. We've got our National Lunar light, as we usually do here. We've now started to fabricate these brackets, black powder coated, and started to sell them through our online shop at perthpro.com.au, because we've been using these all the time. So eventually we just started to get these fabricated to make it a bit easier, and to also up the build quality by actually having these laser cut for us. We've got another National Lunar light on the gull wing here. This is always really handy because you'll have your max tracks in here, and then brand new. You've got your table right here, so if you want to cook or use this as a bar, because there's usually 270-degree awning here, this is really handy with the light right on top of it. There's another National Lunar light on the other side where the shower is, and then of course we've got our Hella work lights on the left hand side, right hand side, and on the rear of the vehicle as well. So in here we've used the PVS dash replacement switch insert, so we got rid of the ashtray, and what we've got here is the external tank, the external pickup pump you can turn on and off. Then we've got the tank pump in here, the water heater switch, the XRS 370 handpiece that connects inside the dash, so if you don't want to use it, you can just take it and put it in the glove box so it's not in your way. And then we've got the work lights, the Hella lights, where you've got left hand side, rear and right hand side. And we usually switch them in the dash, because if you are driving along and let's say you're doing a four-wheel drive track, you get stuck in there, you still have to drive through the night, it is really handy that you can turn on light all the way around your car. So if you're driving along and you want to see what's next to you, all you need to do is just turn the light on and you'll see everything on this side. So you see how far away from a ditch you are, or a cliff, or whatever there might be, or if you're looking for a side track that goes off somewhere. Usually as soon as you drive with the bonnet past the point where you want to go to, everything's black on your side. With the switches being in the dash here, you can actually see all the way around the car. And we've also put a remote control to it. So if you're up in the tent, what you can do through the remote control is turn all the external lights on, just in case you get spooked by something and you want to see what's happening around you. All you need to do is just press the buttons, boom, and you've got light all around the car. Another thing that we did as per usual is that we've added USB charge ports to the side of the dash. They tuck away nicely there, and if the passenger wants to charge his or her phone, they can just plug it in there, usually rest it in here, put it in the glove box, or when you're stationary, put it on the seat. And same thing, there's another one on this side. So if you want to charge your phone while driving, most likely you'll have a suction cap, like a ram mount suction cap cross holder here, and all it takes is just a 30 centimeter charge cable, and you will not have to run the cable through the whole dash and have it hanging around here. It will just go from the phone straight into the charge port. And of course, these are also hooked up to the DC hub, so all the charge ports are running off the lithium battery system. Also part of the water system is this 70-liter water tank that fits very snug around the wheel arch. Hasn't got a filler yet, that is still to come. It's got its breather on the side here, and then it is connected to the tank pump input for the deconstructed water hub system. I'm a really big fan of these quick pitch interior builds, and I do honestly hope that we will see a few more of these, because these are quite handy internal fit outs, and they're robust, which is great. I think all that's left to do for this one here now is give it our patch of approval. This one here is now ready to drive anywhere. Thanks, and see you for the next one.